We'll have every routine of the NCAA Gymnastics postseason from regionals all the way to the national championship available on the ESPN family of networks, and it all culminates on April 20th for the national championship on ABC. Postseason coverage gets started next week with the SEC, ACC, and Big 12 Conference Championships on Saturday, March 23rd. Back here in Lloyd Noble Center, Bart Connor along with Allie Raisman. Allie, I know you're new to college gymnastics. You've called a few meets, and you're going to do the championships this year in about a month. What has impressed you so far about what you've seen in college gymnastics?
Yeah, I'm so excited. It's been so fun. What's really impressed me is the form and the attention to detail. Because college is out of a 10.0, I feel like all these gymnasts are setting the bar very high. They're all pushing each other to the next level. And then also, as someone who is still close with so many of my teammates, I love the bond that I see. When I'm here watching practice, you can just see they formed this sisterhood. They love each other. They have so much fun together. It makes me happy, brings me a lot of joy to watch.
Well, let's take a look at how they qualify for the postseason. It's based on what's called the NQS, the National Qualifying Score. Basically, the way they calculate that, they identify the 6 highest scores. At least 3 of those have to be from away meets. They drop the highest score and average the 5 remaining scores, and that determines the rankings as they head into the postseason. So that does affect Alabama today, and this is interesting. You see that 198.075, that's the home score. The high score is going to be dropped. They have a 197.325 as their low away score. So today they're on pace to improve that score and perhaps move up in the rankings a little bit.
Yeah, it's really exciting. In Oklahoma, they have the top 4 NQS in history. And what's impressive is they continue to improve upon that.
All right, so we're getting set for the 4th and final rotations. The Sooners were trailing after the first event, but have surged into the lead by more than a half a point, and they'll be on the floor here on Senior Day in Norman. Norman, Oklahoma today, where they're averaging over 8,500 fans in attendance. They've really built a fan base here in Norman, and the Sooners continue to dominate gymnastics. They lead by a half a point over Alabama as they move into the 4th and final rotation. The Sooners on the floor, where interestingly enough is the only event that they don't rank #1 in the country. They're #2. So they are remarkably consistent, and a lot of folks on hand today for Senior Day, and a lot of parents in attendance, as Alabama has the opportunity now to try to make this meet a little bit closer if they can be solid on beam. And Lily Hudson is the first of the 6 athletes who will be in their lineup.
Yeah, this is a newer routine for Lily. She used to connect that back handspring into a layout step out, but struggled on it a couple of meets earlier in the season, was determined to go back into the gym. They reworked her routine.
How comfortable were you as an athlete when you had to make last-minute adjustments?
Not comfortable. I'm a very routine-oriented person. Switch leap, very difficult skill to connect in a row. It's hard because when you go to the meet, you're nervous, so you want to trust your muscle memory. Right here is the skill. She's going to do a switch leap half. This is the skill she added in. Because they took out the layout step out, she needed this skill to get a 10.0 start value.
The way the scores are calculated, 9-4 is the base score. If you do all the requirements, then 6 extra tenths come for combinations and extra difficult skills, which she has fulfilled.
Wow. I'm impressed with that routine, especially after talking to Coach Johnson. She said she really has struggled with her confidence on beam, and it really affected her. And you would never know watching that routine. This just shows how hard work makes such a big difference. Switch leap half, this is the skill that was added into the routine. Not easy to change your routine. Coach Johnson talked about she did that back handspring layout step out her entire career. So to do that for so many years of your life and then have to switch something last minute, really well done for her.
And to have the added pressure of being the lead-off competitor. Speaking of that, here is lead-off on floor, Audrey Davis.
Front double twist. makes that look so easy. Audrey is so consistent. She's only had one fall in her entire NCAA career, and that was on beam her freshman year.
She's been in the lineup today twice, scored 9.925s on beam and bars. Also a capable vaulter, but this is a tough vaulting team to make. The Sooners are so good there. So Audrey Davis not often in that lineup, but she can do the all-around for pretty much any other team in the country.
That 1.5 punch front full was a little bit over-rotated there. As I mentioned, the judges would rather see over-rotation than under-rotation, but they're gonna take an extra deduction. It was a little bit out of control on that landing. I really like what Coach Kindler said, though, that she's proud of this team, and I agree with her. They don't want to be perfect here tonight. They're not supposed to be peaking. They're supposed to slowly be getting better and learning, because the goal is to peak at national championships. Front handspring, front double twist. Showing off her flexibility out of that. And then this pass right here, front full, just bounced out of it a little bit. The judges want to see a little bit more control. They'd like to see her step into that dance element.
Maddie Wellagora now coming after Lily Hudson. Strong 9.875 in that leadoff spot.
Coach Johnson told us that Maddie is the mom of the team. She's very good at being unfazed about everything going on around you, which is the type of attitude that you want, the type of person you want when you're competing on balance beam. Handspring layout.
Oh, good
Just
finesse.
a slight little waver there. What's standing out to me about Maddie is I like how she's being very sharp on her dance. It gives her time to breathe. Really nice side aerial. That's a difficult skill, but it gives her time to think about every skill and not to rush. These gymnasts have 1.5 minutes to complete their beam routine. And sometimes when you're nervous, you tend to rush things. And the best gymnasts take their time and they pretend that they're on the floor. So using that dance to collect herself before the dismount. Round off 1.5. I like the height on that 1.5. Sometimes you want to hold back, but I like how she went big, got a lot of height on that, and still was able to stick the dismount.
Two great hits back-to-back here in Alabama's final rotation.
Yeah, I think they're going to be really happy with these first two routines. They look really confident. They've really improved throughout the season.
Alabama, one of the great programs in women's gymnastics. Their last national championship was several years ago, though. Oklahoma has been dominant, and Belle Johnson, a young lady who I'm particularly proud of, because she started at 3 years old at the Bart Connor Gymnastic Academy. This is senior day for her. She's got a whole bunch of family here in the crowd cheering her on. She's contributed a great deal on floor throughout her career.
Yeah, it's going to be such an emotional night for these athletes. They've been doing gymnastics, some of them, as you mentioned, from the age of 3 or 2 years old. This is really all they've ever known. So it could be a little scary having that transition. And also, you're used to being with your teammates and having so much fun in the gym every day. Double tuck. That mat right there is called a sting mat. No deduction for that, just to help with the landing. Sometimes it can be a little bit of wear and tear towards the end of the season, so it just helps protect the athletes.
Belle Johnson, part of this senior class that has never lost in the Lloyd Noble Center. They're 35-0. She's experienced 128 wins in her career and 2 NCAA titles with this team.
It's incredible, but it shows when you watch them in practice. They're very disciplined and they really pay attention to the details. You can see it even when they're warming up at the competition. Everything is mimicking what it would feel like in a competition.
She was one of the athletes dealing with strep throat, as several on the team were earlier this week, but she told me before the meet they all got on antibiotics by Tuesday and they're all recovering well. So there's so many things that these young athletes are dealing with, not only competing week in and week out and dealing with managing their bodies and injuries. They're also students. You know, they're also community service and things. So there's so much to what they contribute, not just here on the competitive floor. Ella Burgess now on team.
I love that skill. She does a back handspring with one arm. We see a lot of back handspring layouts, but we don't see a lot of one-arm back handsprings. That requires a lot of strength, and it's also an extra 10th bonus because it's so difficult. Coach Johnson talked about how detail-oriented Ella is. She says that she goes into the practice gym and says, what will work in competition and how can I create that in practice? She goes through her cues, her words, and she walks through the exact same thing in the meet. I think that is the secret sauce to being a consistent competitor.
And another strong landing for Alabama. 3 solid routines in a row here in the 4th and final rotation. They are trailing Oklahoma, but they're doing a really clean job on beam.
They really are. There's that back handspring layout with one arm. Most people cannot do that because it requires so much strength on that one arm. Talk about that force on that one arm. Yeah, this has been a really exciting night for Alabama. I've watched them throughout the season, and the goal is you want to get better and better as it gets closer to nationals, and I really think that's what Alabama is doing.
Reagan Smith now on floor. You see here floor average.
Double tuck. Made that look so easy, didn't even need to grab her legs. And you talked about some of these athletes having strep throat. As so many people know, when you're sick, it completely knocks you off of your rhythm. It affects your stamina. It affects your strength. And the fact that they're out here performing at the best level, doing routine, is so much easier said than done.
We often talk about that team score of 198, which is a 9.9 average. Oklahoma this year, 8 out of 9 meets were over 198. So they have been not only superb, but consistently so. Likely to be over 198 here again, because Belle Johnson had a 9.95 after Audrey Davis led them off with a 9.
Double pike. So impressive. Especially as I mentioned, she had to miss 2 days of practice this week. You would never know watching her. Now this first pass, what I love is she doesn't even need to use her arms to pull her legs. Most gymnasts grab their legs to help them get more rotation, and then finishes up with a double pike.
Tom Haley, one of the associate head coaches, giving her a few notes after that performance. Gladio now. Look at the scores for Alabama. They're doing a nice job. 9.925 for Ella Burgess in the middle of the line.
I love this skill. Back handspring layout, 2 feet. We don't see that often in NCAA gymnastics.
It seemed like you did that too, didn't you?
I did do that, yes.
What makes that more difficult than, say, a 1 foot?
I think what's hard about it is you have to get more height, and if you pike down a little bit, that you risk the judges giving you only a pike instead of a layout. So there's a risk of not getting that 10-0 start value. Switch lead, split lead, connected that beautifully. When I say connection, the judges are looking for fluid movement with the arms. If you break the connection, you don't get that connection bonus. Round off double twist.
And another great landing.
I think this is the best beam I've seen from Alabama. I think they're going to be thrilled with this.
She got a hug there from Makari Doggett, who is out with a lower leg injury. She's one of their greats on the sidelines, leading cheers nowadays. So they're having to do this kind of performance without one of the greats right there on the right of your screen, Makari Doggett. Good job for Gabby Gladio. Ashley Johnston happy with what she's seeing with her team in the fourth and final rotation. Kat Lavasser coming after Reagan Smith, 9.975. Every score for the Sooners, 9-9 or better on this event.
Full in. Even in that, her toes are pointed. So hard to remember all those little details when you're thinking about competing. You have so many other things going on.
I mentioned earlier that I think the gymnasts have actually superseded the quality and the consistency of the judging, because there are so many scores that are in that 9-9 to 10 range. It's becoming more and more to differentiate between good, excellent, and exceptional routines in college gymnastics. It often comes down to the little details, and that's what Oklahoma is known for.
Round off 1.5. Punch layout half into a straddle jump. Saw similar thing that Gabby Gladio did with the split jump. Not easy to end with that.
Kat Lavasser, she has 2 9.9s today on vault and beam and a 9.975 on bars, finishing up strong here in the all-around and for her team.
Full in to open up this routine. And then last pass. Keep your eye on the height of this straddle jump.
Wow.
Kat told me she's superstitious, and Audrey Davis does Kat's hair before every competition. Really shows their camaraderie and their friendship.
Shania Adams up now. Second 9.925 in a row for Alabama, doing a nice job in this fourth and final rotation. Whoa!
That was a good save.
Oh
I saw that as well. Her chest dipped a little bit low. That's a hard thing to do in the beginning of the routine. Sometimes those turns and dance elements, they look easy, but those are sometimes the ones that give gymnasts a little bit of trouble.
And she was so off, and yet she drilled it. Wow.
That wolf turn is what it's called, and it's a hard skill to do. It also requires a lot of flexibility.
And not many people do it well either. It's to do it with that execution is superior.
But sometimes after you make a little mistake in the beginning of the routine, it kind of wakes you up a little bit. A little bit of a form break there, but I can see every skill. She's trying really hard to be aggressive and tight. I can see her focus. Back handspring, 1.5 dismount. Landed really upright on that dismount. It was really well done. Watch her chest. Goes a little bit in her arm. It's hard to keep your arms balanced, but that's what she needed to do. Impressive she stayed on.
Big 12 now on ESPN Plus is a must-have for Big 12 fans with baseball and softball in full swing. More than 300 matchups are available, along with the early rounds of Baseball Conference Championship. you're a Big 12 fan, you have to have it. Sign up today at ESPNplus.com/Big12 now. While Alabama doing well on beam, similarly for the Sooners on the floor. 9.925 the score for Kat Lavasser. Spectacular day in the all-around her. 39.7, one of her best scores. Faith Torres now.
Huge double layout. We don't see so many double layouts, so I like how she's taking a big risk.
There's an interesting note. OU program record is 198.675. The last two gymnasts score a total of 19.9, which is a 9.95 average. They could beat their OU program record today on Senior Day against Alabama.
It's so impressive. Oklahoma continues to beat their record week after week. Front through to a double tuck. That double tuck she landed with her chest up and opened up at the right time. I really like that landing.
That power comes in handy at the end of the routine for Faith Torres.
Front through into a double tuck, opens up with enough time to open up really at the right time. Not easy to do at the end of your routine when you're tired.
Shania Adams for Alabama had a 9.9, and the average for Luisa Blanco is over 9.9, tied for 6th in the conference on beam. Another example of her precision and elegance shows up here.
Yeah, with beautiful skills like that, front aerial. If you watch her, I like how I can see her visibly take deep breaths. She's taking her time in between every skill. That handspring layout, wow. Most gymnasts stop after that first layout, but Luisa takes a big risk with connecting 3 skills in a row. We don't often see that in college gymnastics, but with big risk comes big reward. Coach Johnson told me that they really have to work with Luisa on managing expectations of herself and not trying too hard to be perfect. But whatever they're doing, it's working because this routine has been fantastic so far.
What a final rotation here. And could they get one more stuck landing? Luisa Blanco! Wow!
Wow. What a rotation for Alabama. What a huge confidence boost for them going into the conference championship on Saturday.
She has had 4 10s in her career on beam.
Watch
and this one was superb.
Fantastic. 3 skills connected in a row. So difficult. Round off 1.5. Stuck. Dismount. You see her arms right out there looking right at Coach Johnson. She knew that was coming.
Meanwhile, on the floor now, comes back over to the Sooners. Faith Torres, a 9.975. And Jordan Bowers, the anchor competitor, currently 4th in the country on this event. A 9.925 or better for Bowers would give OU a program record here today on St. Patrick's Day. The luck of the Irish.
Wow. Her handspring front double throw into the punch front. What stood out to me on that is her punch front. The 3rd skill was higher than the 2nd skill.
Already today, she's had a 9.925, a 9.95, and a 198.75.
Double pike.
Didn't quite keep
Yeah,
that foot down.
didn't control the landing as much as the judges would like to, but that will be a small deduction. What stands out to me about Jordan's stance is her eyes, her fierceness, the way that she performs this.
AJ Kindler prides herself in the variety and the passion of a choreography that she helps these women create. What a way to finish senior day for the Sooners. Jordan Bowers. Huge crowd on hand.
Now watch this front double full, and the punch front was higher than that second skill, which shows the ease that she has in the control. And then last pass, double pike. If she just opened up the slightest bit earlier, you see her hips were a little bit too far back on that landing. Just will get a small deduction for that.
They're celebrating it. It just came up. It's a 10.
Oh, wow.
Well, Jordan Bowers for the Sooners. A 10 to wrap up this competition between two of the great programs in women's gymnastics history. OU continues to dominate. OU gets a program record today, 198.775. Woo. What an afternoon here in Norman, Oklahoma. We'll be back here in a couple of minutes to wrap this one up. The Sooners get the win and remain undefeated, and the senior class has never been beaten in this building. Team NCAA Women's Championship field. We'll break down every team and every matchup in each region at 8 Eastern on ESPN and the app. What a big day here for the Sooners on St. Patrick's Day. The luck of the Irish was with them, in fact. 198.775 is a team record score, a program record score, and they were led by Jordan Bowers, who herself had a career best all-around 39.85.
Yeah, starting off on vault, even with that slow-mo, hard to find any deduction when you watch this in the air. Small hop on that landing, and then this bar routine. Just really showing her consistency and her form. This dismount, her knees and toes are glued together the entire time. Back handspring, lay out, step out. And then this dismount right here, stuck landing. And then last pass on floor, a double pike, finishes out with a 10 on floor.
And there is Jordan Bowers. Congratulations, Jordan.
Thank you.
We were talking at the top of the show that it's a long season. This is the 11th week. How in the world do you continue to create those level of performances, even at your best today of your career?
Yeah, just day in and day out in the gym, you know, really working on those details, trying to get better at those little things that really just add up to the big picture, and focusing on those little things, and that just gets it done.
Congratulations, Jordan. How are you feeling going into Big 12 championships on Saturday?
Yeah, feeling really good. We're super ready for postseason. Super excited. We're so close as a team, and we're just ready to get it going.
Congratulations. Thank you for joining us, Jordan, and good luck throughout the postseason.
Thank you.
Quick recap on the schedule for next week. We have conference championships, the SEC championship, the ACC championship, and the Big 12 championship. All on the SEC networks, ESPNU, and the ACC network. A senior day, they're going to be presenting senior awards and some very emotional speeches for these young women and their families here in one of their last meets in the Lloyd Noble. Oklahoma, a great day with a program record 198.775. Enjoyed working with you, Allie Raceman. I'm Bart Connor. We want to thank you all for joining us. So long from Norman, Oklahoma. The regular season is over and it's postseason from here on out. Good luck to the teams going forward.